Oh, what's up, people? Hello, how y'all doing? What up, what up? It's me. I'm back yet again for another Wednesday and another boot camp. How y'all doing? What's up, what's up? Quick introductions, as always, for the people that are new here. My name is Onwa. Let me turn down the music a little bit so you guys can actually tell what I'm talking about. My name is Onwa. I'm a 4th semester student here at CADA, and I'm gonna be hosting today's boot camp. We're gonna be doing Unreal Engine today for 1.5 hours live, and we're gonna be learning a lot, hopefully. How y'all doing? If you guys wanna know something about what I do, what I like to do, I think my art station is in the description, so do take a look if you are curious about who I am. You all excited for some Unreal Engine today? It's always a fun one, to be honest. Hello, hello. Felicia, Knitfox, Philip, Athalia, SM28, Lars, Allison, Ada Kunle. Some familiar names, some new ones. Alright, so let's get everybody introduced to the stream. I like to use emojis for the stream interaction. You know, this is live, so how many of you all are completely new to the stream? Hit me with one of those. Yes, I'm completely new to the stream. And maybe if you've been here before, you can put up your hand. I've been here before, so I'm gonna put up my hand. Let's see if people are where you guys are all at. And if you've never been here before, you've never touched Unreal Engine before, do not worry. I'll take you all through it from the very beginnings. New here? Okay. Alright, cool. So yeah, as I was saying, if you're completely new to this, you might have some questions, and if you're not new to this, you might also have some questions, and those questions are totally allowed on the stream. That's why we do it live, right? If you have a question, there's probably like 5 other people that have the same question, so do ask in the chat, use it. That's why we do it live, so I can help you all out. If something goes too fast, too slow, just ask away. There's no stupid questions here. Okay. Alright. There we go. I hope you all have downloaded Unreal Engine already. If you haven't, now is definitely time to go and do that. But let's get into it, so we have some time to actually make something cool, right? So, alright people, once you have Unreal Engine downloaded, I'll just get straight into it, right? Because it might be buggy for some people. Let's just get into it right away, so if you have some problems, you can fix those before we get too far into the stream. Just boot up Unreal Engine, see if it actually works, right? So you just launch the thing from the download link. You go to Unreal Engine, and then you click launch right here. Here we go. Is there a lot of people in the chat that have never used Unreal Engine before? If you've never used Unreal Engine, hand up in the chat, or just say I haven't or something like that, so I can kind of gauge. I want to keep you all like with me throughout the whole stream. I don't want to lose anyone. So never used it before. Okay, great. Okay, a lot of new people, so I'll go through the whole thing. Okay, so if I ever lose you or maybe I click a button and I kind of accidentally do it without explaining what it does, just ask in the chat and I'll be more than happy to help. Yeah, exactly like Clarissa said, all the streams are available on the YouTube channel afterwards. Okay, so I'm thinking for today's stream, maybe we should make like a third person kind of walkthrough experience. Let me get rid of this pen because I'm playing with it too much. I used Blender before but not Unreal. I never have. Okay, I could imagine a couple people might have used Blender before but not Unreal. So that would be a cool experience too. Because there are some similarities but not everything. Alright, so once you get to the screen here, you should be able to go to the Games tab and then you could pick any of them. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do the third person and you can do whatever you feel like. But if you're completely new, I might recommend just sticking to what I'm doing as well. So I'll call this one Unreal Engine Bootcamp. And then this is where you save it, right? And then you click create. And then I'll get into some Unreal stuff. So I just need everybody to try this to see if they can actually get Unreal Engine to work. And then see if it actually boots up. So I wonder if the people that are completely new to Unreal Engine or have like never touched it before, do you guys know what it is? Or are you just like a complete like open book, just want to try something new? Have you heard about it before? Maybe seen something from it before? Alright, and maybe once you get to this state, just as well write in the chat if you're able to open up the project, just so I know that people are on track with me. I've seen it used by video artists. Okay, cool. Very eager to learn it and start making games. Alright, the gamer, same bro. Let's go. Okay, heard of it in the gaming context. Yeah. Okay, I'll explain a little bit about Unreal Engine while people boot up and get to this state. Actually, hold up. No, yeah, okay, try to boot up Unreal Engine, get it to this point, and then while you guys are doing that, let me explain a little bit about what Unreal Engine actually is then. PC shed. Alright, Rivo. Gotta upgrade, man. Steal one from the school. I didn't say that. Okay, so if you've heard about things like Blender or Maya before, you know, Unreal Engine, it's just like every other engine, it's a program that's made to display something visually, right? Like you want a visual output. But the thing Unreal Engine is very good at is giving you that visual output in real time, okay? So in this scene, there's clouds, there's light, there's everything going on, and it's looking quite nice for whatever this is, right? Like a test scene. And if I start moving something around, you'll see we don't have to wait for the picture to arrive to our screen. It's happening in real time, right? That's why we call it a real-time render engine. And now this happens to be extremely good for games. But games are not the only application. There's many other times where you would want stuff to happen instantly as you start moving it around, right? Even for filmmaking and like visual experiences, there's lots of other applications, like the sky's the limit really. And if you're coming from a Blender side, that would probably be one of the main differences between something like Blender and Unreal Engine. Okay, it has very good real-time rendering capabilities. And Blender has a lot of other things that it's really good at, because you don't always want to render in real time, because this might happen instantly, but they take a lot of shortcuts to make it happen. So the lighting might not be fully realistic, but that's fine if you're gonna play a game or something like that, okay? So that's kind of like the basis of what Unreal Engine is. And that what it makes it really fun to work with as a 3D artist, because you don't have to sit around and wait forever until you see your changes happening on the screen. Does Unreal Sky have limit? I don't know what you mean by that, Rival. Like, can you... Yeah, I actually don't know what you mean. Like, if it goes out infinitely? I think it does. Hold up, I don't want to lose my scene. Is it normal that it's compiling 10,000 shaders? It might be if it's the first time you open it. Yeah. So the compiling new shaders is like something that happens once and then it's... Oh, if the sky is the limit, you said? Okay, right, well, I don't know how to answer that. But regardless, it makes it really fun for us to sit here today and we're gonna make a scene and we can instantly see the changes, right? And in Blender, we're sitting there modeling something and then we have to render it out afterwards, and that's not really how it works here. We can see it instantly. But, so the way Unreal Engine usually is used is you would make an asset in Blender because it's very good at making that. So if you need a table, a chair, a house, you would make it in Blender, and then you can import it into Unreal Engine, and then you can place it in your little level or your scene, and then you can play, okay? So the way to play is you click this green button up here top left, and now we actually have a little character, and we can walk around and jump around in our scene in real time. Stock 40% of installing Unreal Engine. Oh, that sucks, Kate, but I'm sure you'll be able to catch up. If you're a little bit behind, just do ask questions when you get to that point. It moves fast after the shaders. Yeah, I'm sure it does. Okay, let's do a little... How many of you all have been able to get to the point where Unreal Engine has booted up and you're like in the scene kind of like I am? So I'm that far. So I'll put my hand up in the chat. And if you're that far as well, put your hand up. If you're not, just write it out. I know some people are compiling shaders and all that. I just want to know if some people are getting there. Okay, it's fair enough. Yeah, Unreal Engine can be a little bit sorta kinda heavier as well to run on a PC because, well, while it's very beautiful and everything is happening in real time, your PC has to do all the work to make that happen as well, right? So it's nice to use Unreal Engine with a great PC, while you might be fine with a kind of mid-level PC for Maya or Blender or low-level PC. Need to reinstall that. Oh, that sucks. That sucks, that sucks, that sucks. Okay, so fair enough. I'll just keep explaining stuff, then I'll give people a couple more minutes to get into it before I really dive into how to actually use the software itself. So as I was getting at, you would make models and softwares outside of Unreal Engine and then you would import them into here. And we have a whole folder structure set up for each project where we can start importing models that have been made outside of Unreal Engine, right? And that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. We're going to make a scene with a bunch of assets and models that we find from outside of Unreal Engine. That's sort of the whole point of today. And to do that, we'll use the website called fab.com. Okay? So in a couple minutes, I'll go over the stuff quickly again because I want everybody to be able to download all these things. But I'll just talk about it while we're waiting. So Fab is like a collaboration between Epic Games, which own Unreal Engine, and Sketchfab. So there's a bunch of 3D models on here that people have made or scanned from real life and stuff like that. And we can use those models and import them into our scene. So that's what we're gonna do. If you go to like, discover whatever, you can go 3D. There's a bunch of different packs. Some of them are paid, some are free. You can sort by free here. And then all you see on your screen right now, you could import it into your own project and make something cool. And I do encourage, actually, if you do have that extra time and energy, like just try to find something from here that you think is cool and like import it into your scene as we're working, because it would be awesome to see. And by the end of the stream, it would be great if we had like some different cool stuff. We usually always have that with the Unreal streams. People get creative, and then we post it on the Discord for us all to share with each other. Hold up. Oh yeah, and I guess while we're waiting, we can also go over the Discord stuff. So if you're not already part of it, this Discord is where we share the stuff that we make on the bootcamp. And by the end of this, we're gonna make an awesome scene with all these assets, and then we're gonna post it on the Discord. So this is the stuff from last time. People got really creative. It was awesome. So if you're not part of this Discord already, let me invite you real quick. So invite people, copy link, and there you all go. Here's a link to the server. I accidentally entered another menu thing in Unreal by right clicking. How do I get back to the screen you are on? Okay, so entered another screen by right clicking. I wonder what that could be. Hold up. And every 2 weeks there's a 3. Yes, okay, so the limited packs Bao are talking about, we're gonna be using one of them today as well. So you can get paid stuff for free even. So I wonder what you did. You might have gone into I wonder. There are wireframes. I am lost. Oh, okay. So you probably changed the perspective by accident somehow. So if you go top left, maybe you went into like one of these views. You just gotta click right here and turn it back to perspective. The hotkey is Alt G. Okay, so Alt G. Yeah. Alright, I hope most people are ready to go in Unreal Engine now. So I'll slowly be getting into some of the stuff. If you're not, that's okay. I'll help you all catch up when you get to that point. I think your Unreal Engine should look like this when you boot it up. Okay. So to start off with, we have like the very basic tools to move stuff around. I'll go over that. So right click to move around, to look around. And then if you've played games before, you'll be familiar with the moving hotkeys. It is WASD. So WASD. Okay. So you hold down right click and then you click WASD. And then you can fly around your scene. Hold up, let me change this music. And if you feel like you're flying too fast or too slow, while you're flying, you can scroll on your scroll wheel. Okay, so you can go super slow if you need to, or super fast if you're in a huge scene. Okay. To select stuff, you just left click and then you can move it around by dragging these arrows here. Okay, you can rotate it. If you click on your UI, it's up here. So you have a mold tool, you have a rotate tool, and you have a scale tool. So the hotkeys for that is WER. And very simply, they do what you would expect them to do. If you find that they feel a little bit snappy, it is because they do snap. So see, the rotate snaps every 10 degrees, and that's because the snapping options are on up here in the top right, so you can disable that. So now you just freely rotate this thing without snapping anywhere. And same with the movement and stuff like that. This is way more fun than it should be. Yeah, flying around in Unreal Engine is great. Especially if you're coming from Blender or something like that. This feels very free. And remember, you can always play your game as well by clicking that top left green arrow. And then you just hit escape to go back to the editor. Okay, so other than the viewport that we have here, we have an outliner at the right side of our screen. And inside of that, we can see stuff that we have highlighted. It's basically just like a large list of all the objects in our scene, and we can put stuff in folders and stuff like that. So if we're looking for like cube number 18, oh, there is no number 18, but like 13, you can search for it and then you can find it. So if you can't find stuff in your viewport and you have a name for it, you can just search for it here and find it. Escape makes your character jump? Really? Okay, so Shift F1 should get your mouse cursor out, and then you can click the red stop simulation up here if escape is not working. Alright, so other than that, we have the details panel here, and that one is context sensitive, so it will change depending on what we have selected in our viewport. So if I select the blue cube, we'll have information about our blue cube, like the position of it and numbers and the rotation and some other stuff down here. So we can also drag these numbers to move it, or we can change other stuff about our objects down there, like the material, so what the surface looks like and that kind of stuff. Alright, so if you're with me so far and you're able to move stuff around your scene, maybe you've tried playing with your character and you're able to walk around and get out and move around and look around and all that, put your hand up in the chat. I'm able to do that, so I'll put my hand up in the chat. So let me see if people are following along so far, then we'll go deeper and deeper. Hope everything's making sense so far. If anything is confusing, do let me know. Alright, great. Except the flying around. To fly around, what you need to do is just hold right click and then click W, A, S, D. That's how you fly around. And then while flying around, you can scroll on your scroll wheel to go slower or faster. Should just be right click, WASD. Okay, so to start importing stuff into our scene, because we could make stuff from cubes, but that's not really that fun. I mean, unless you're doing like a Portal kind of game. So we can import some cool assets. I'm just doing it with the hotkeys. Okay, great. How can I turn an object? So to turn an object, you click the rotate option up here, the rotate tool. So you have it in your UI, you just select something and then you can rotate it. You can also click the hotkey, which is E. So W to move stuff, E to rotate stuff, R to scale stuff. Okay, as I was saying, we want to import some cool stuff to our scene. And the way to do that is we gotta access our content browser. So if you go to Window, you will have the content browser and you can just select one of them and then it will come out here. And if it's like, oops, if it's like floating somewhere, you can click, you can drag it down to just dock it in the layout. I like to do that because we'll be using it a lot. And in here, we have all the stuff that's in our scene in folders, okay? So if we go into third person, blueprints, you'll see there's a bunch of stuff in here, like the character. So if we want to drag out a new character, we could just move it in. So Control Z to undo stuff, by the way. So if you did something and you don't want to do that anyways, you can just Control Z that, change, and it will go back. Okay. Let's see what else we have in here. Maybe I should go into level prototyping, meshes, and then you see we have the cubes that's in our scene as well in here. Okay. So if we were to import a chair in here, we could drag chairs into our scene. That's basically what we're gonna do. So we gotta go to Fab now. And now this is the point where you're kind of gonna be, the sky's the limit, but not really, because the limit is actually how fast your internet connection is. Okay, so y'all gotta make an Epic account if you didn't already. I think you might have to get into Unreal Engine. What up, Andreas? Hello. So once you have an Epic account, if you don't already have speed, like make one right away. You can start looking at all the stuff that is in here already. Okay, so today I'll be using this package right here. It's free for the month. You see there's like 3 different limited time free packages, and you can download all of them if you want or add them to your account. Then you have them forever. You don't even need to download them. I would recommend you do that. What up, what up? Yeah, and so usually every month we use one of these if we can for the stream. So I'll link this in the chat. Now it is 4 gigabytes. So if you don't already have it downloaded and you know that your internet is very slow, I might recommend that you follow along the stream, but maybe you download a package that's not that heavy. Oh, stylized environment. So I know there is one. So you could download like a stylized environment from here. Ooh, yep. There's this one as well. So I'll not be using that today, but this is what we used last stream, and it's like 200 megabytes. So you could download that instead if you need to. And then of course you can also browse whatever it is that you feel like on here. You can just go free and then search for anything and something will probably come up, right? Okay, so once you have this, you just add it to your cart, you check out, and then you have it on your account. And then you can click View in Launcher. And then once you click View in Launcher, you have your whole library of like all the packs in your account. So you can see I have quite a lot right now. And if you've just added this to your account, you gotta refresh your library by clicking this little yellow button. And then we can search for it. So you might not have to search because you guys probably don't have that many if you're new to Unreal. But I have to search for it, so I just search 1850s. And then we have 1850s post office environment, okay? And from there we click add to project, and then we select the project that we are in currently. So mine is called Unreal Engine Bootcamp, and I just click add to project. It says it already exists, so I might have selected the wrong one. It should not exist, so I'm just gonna click override. Sure. And then I'm gonna get it in here. So I had downloaded it before before the stream started, so mine is very quick to download. But if you haven't done that, it might take a little bit. It's 4 gigabytes, so it depends on your internet connection. And you know, there's no like hard sort of guidelines for what we're doing today. You can also, if you feel like doing a different kind of environment, just feel free to download whatever you can from the Fab store. You know, this is what this stream is about. I'm kind of just the main point of this is to teach you all how to use the software. And the best way to do that is kind of letting you all, like teaching you all how to actually do stuff on your own, right? You don't necessarily have to do everything that I'm doing step by step. But there's a lot of cool stuff on here. So I'll just look around the pack while you all are probably downloading. So if you guys have started the download, so that's the important part, at least it started. Hand up in the chat if you guys have started it. So I started it, but I also finished it, so I put my hand up. Just want to know that people are actually downloading it while I start looking through all the stuff that's in here. So we get this thing here called Just Be Studios, okay? So we had these 3 folders before, but now it's created a 4th folder when we clicked Add to Project, and in here there's all the stuff. So there's a couple different folders. We don't need to really understand all of them right away, but we have blueprints. And simply put, a blueprint is a bunch of different models put together to like one item. So if you had chairs and tables, you could make a dining setup and then combine that into one blueprint. So you could have a dining setup with tables, chairs, like cutlery, and you could just drag it out somewhere and they would all be together. The stuff that's separate is going to be inside meshes here. So we can see there's a bunch of cool stuff in here. There's even a skybox. So skybox is going to be the... oh, well, it's not... Yeah, there we go. Like the environment around. So we probably have to scale this one up really large if you want it to actually look kind of good. It feels very cold and icy. Interesting. But yeah, so there's suitcases, there's all the 1850s, whatever it was, kind of stuff in here, right? And we're gonna try to create like a little scene from that. So when you drag something in, it's gonna have to compile the shaders. But then when you drag it in again, you don't have to do that anymore. Let's just see what's in here. Okay, so a bunch of loose stuff in here. What else do we have? Levels. So here's gonna be like a showcase, so maybe we can look at that. So if we want to save what we've done here, so this is a good like little learning point. So everything we do inside Unreal Engine is gonna be saved to levels, right? Hold up, so let me just... Okay, so I was just in a level, and that level is the 3rd person like pre-made map that we've done, right? So if I want to go back to this place, I would have to go into the 3rd person maps, 3rd person map, okay? And if we want to make a new level, we can just right click and click level, and then we can go to new world, and inside new world there's literally nothing, right? So in the same sense, when I go into this 1850s pack that we downloaded, there's also levels in here, and they've made one called showcase and one called overview. So we can go into the showcase, and it's probably gonna be like a little environment they've set up with all the assets, so we can see how they've used them. What if I'm unable to download it? So if you're unable to download that specific pack, you should probably download any other pack from the Fab store. It really doesn't matter what you download. It's kind of just like the principles of stuff I'm going through today. So whatever pack works for you is completely fine. The second link I sent is a lot smaller. It's like 200 megabytes, so that should be possible. I do not see a download. So on the Fab library, so in here, you might have to click the refresh button. And maybe it shows up then. If not, you might have to click view in launcher or view in my library. But it should show up when you click the refresh. Let me know if that helped. This is taking quite a while. Once you all get a pack or the pack, I would recommend you all just try to look around as well, like see what's up. Whenever I double click the showcase level, it opens up a detail tab and the level doesn't start. Interesting. So my showcase is also taking a little bit of time to open up. Let's see what happens. Great, great, great. Okay, I'll give it like 1 more minute. If not, I'll just close it and then we'll just start making our level. Okay, people, let me know how many are still downloading and how many are in. So I'm in, so I got the pack. I'll just put my hand up. If you're still downloading, let me know. And feel free to like start thinking about what you're gonna make it look like already. You know, you don't have to wait for me. If you're faster than me, go for it, right? Like start planning out the scene, maybe pull in some assets, like play with it a little bit. Still downloading. How do I open the pack in Unreal? 1 GB to complete. Okay, it's kind of close. I could open the scene. Alright, I can't seem to open the scene, I think. It's kind of stuck. So I'll just go ahead and nuke my Unreal Engine. Yep. Oh, never mind. Something's happening. Oh, it's just a very, very large scene, but that's cool. I guess we get to see like, oh my god, maybe I shouldn't have opened this. Now we're gonna get discouraged. Or maybe we're gonna get really, what's it called? Inspired. Oh, I'm in the trees. So it has to compile all the shaders. Yeah, so it does a lot of the work before it starts rendering, so we have to wait a little bit, and then once it's done prepping all the shaders, we should be fine. Okay, there we go. So if you click G, you will get rid of all the UI elements, so you can just kind of enjoy the scene. So this is sort of what's possible with the pack that we do have. And what I have here is basically a level just like the other one we had, right? So if I wanted to, I could take a card and just move it around, right? Nothing stops me from doing that. And if I hit play, let's see, it might open like a little... No, yeah, we can just run around. So, hold up. It's gonna be a little bit laggy. That's maybe okay for now. Yeah, it's probably okay for now. So I don't think our scene will be that large, so we should probably be okay with the lag. So I'm thinking we should try to make like a little saloon or something like that too. I think that would be cool. Please say again how you load the whole stuff into your scene at once. Yes, of course. So once you have... Okay, let me get the link again. Alright. So once you have added this to your account, you click View and Launcher. So I think you got that far. You refresh your fab library, you search for 1850s, because that's the name of the pack. You click Add to Project, select your project, and then it will download. Okay, so once it has downloaded, in your content browser, you will have this thing called Just Be Studios, which is the new folder that it has added. And in here, there's all the stuff. So in the folders, in the meshes folder, there's all the stuff that's loose. So if we want the box right here, we can just left click and drag it in. And now we have a box right there. If you don't see this content browser, you go to Window and then add the content browser right here. Okay, cool. Let's see what they used for this. So yeah, they have a bunch of wall pieces that we can use inside the meshes folder. So let's go ahead and try to do that. How did they make the ground? It's a large landscape, I guess. Yeah, so we can see they used a landscape for that with this MI terrain that's in the materials. Okay, let's take notes. Landscape with MI terrain. And then there's water dirty test. Water dirty test. And there's a bunch of foliage. They probably used the foliage brush for that. Okay, cool. So let's escape this scene because it's a little bit laggy and then go back to our own. So we can go back to third person maps, third person map. Now we're back to the scene where we left it off. Alright, so first things first, let's try to make a ground plane. So like we saw, they used what's called a landscape here in Unreal Engine. So we can go to Windows, and then we gotta open up the Place Actors tab. So an actor inside Unreal Engine is basically just like an object or like a thing. Maybe a thing is a better description. So there are many things. Wait, hold up. We actually don't need this menu right now, but it's nice to have it open. We just need to go into the Landscape tab. So right here, instead of going to the selection where you just select stuff and move them around, you can go into the Landscape editor. Click the little drop down. And let's just make it a lot smaller so it doesn't get so laggy. So we can do like a 2x2 maybe. Yeah, that seems about fine. And then maybe move it somewhere to the middle. Here. Maybe move it down a little bit. Okay. I want to lower the resolution a little bit, just so it's easy to work with. Hold up, actually, maybe like this instead. Okay, so lower the resolution and then we can just scale it up a little bit. Seems fair enough. Okay, that should be easy to work with, and then we can click Create. PCG. No, we're not going to be using PCG. Procedural content generation framework. Oh, that's oh, okay. I get it. No, we're not going to be using that. I mean, maybe if there is a tool already inside the pack, let's see. But yeah, today is just gonna be very basic, like let's get the stuff in the scene. How do you use the software, put it, get familiar with the hotkeys, that kind of stuff, right? And then from there, you all can watch tutorials and branch out in whatever direction you think is interesting and all that. Okay, great. So now we have this landscape created. And then we're going to be getting these sculpting tools available to us. And with those, we can start sculpting on our landscape. Yeah, it's a little bit advanced to make those tools, but maybe if there's something that's easy to use in the pack, we can do that. So you just left click to move stuff up and then shift to move it down, right? So I'm just thinking about once we start playing, I just want to create like a little hill around so we can't see out into the infinite blueness. Okay, so we can kind of limit our little play area to something that's manageable for the stream. Now, if you feel like you want to go ahead and make a huge open world, I would go for it. I want to see it. But I think maybe it's a good idea to just limit yourself a little bit for the first one. So there we go. Now we have an environment we can walk on. And then on this environment, we can start putting grass and all that if we need to. So they used a material. So if we go back into selection mode, if we click any object in the scene, like this cube, for example, you will see out on the right in the details tab, if I get out of here for a second, there is this material slot, okay? So any object has a material. So this material for this cube is this thing called prototype grid, okay? So in the pack we just downloaded, they have their own materials. So there's this thing called brick, for example, and you can drag that into the slot, and now the cube is gonna have a brick texture. Now if you scale it, it's gonna get stretched and all that. But now we have a brick texture, and we could copy this out if we wanted to. So if you can move it, you can move it locally by changing that. And now we could have a brick wall. Okay, but the same goes for the terrain. So they use something called MI terrain, and it doesn't look like it would work right out the box. I just kind of hope it does. So let's see. No, it definitely doesn't. Okay, it definitely does not. Don't want to get into the painting tools and all that right now. Okay, so let's just see if there's something we can use right now as a placeholder in here. So there's mud and stuff like that. Let's try to use the mud. Okay, kind of works. It's just very tiled. Alright, so this mud too probably looks the best for right now. And then we're gonna cover it with a bunch of like, I don't know, whatever we can find in the pack, right? And we should be alright. Okay, so we could go in here and mess with it and all that. But okay, that's a little bit for later, I guess. So now we have this kind of brown whatever to start with, and then we can work from there. So we can start deleting some of these walls. You just click it and click delete on your keyboard to open up the scene a little bit more. What's up, Catherine? Okay, and now we can start building a little saloon thing. Let's see what we can do today. So we can go into meshes here and look for the place where all the walls were. So there's some brick walls here. We can drag stuff in and we can like use it later if we need to. So we can like drag it in. If we think it's cool, maybe we can use this gate for something. So these mud patches, that's kind of very useful to break up this very, I was gonna say, like repeated flat texture on the ground. We can kind of break it up with some different kind of mud patches. If there is multiple in here, that would be nice. There's some roofing. Let's see what else they have. So here are the wall pieces. Okay, so maybe let's keep this cube for now, and we could make that like the base of our house here, of the saloon. Okay, so let's drag in all these different wall pieces. Let's see what we have. Okay. Alright, let's just start. So this little square thing here, I'm thinking they probably have some kind of wood material that we can put on it. Like a floor. Maybe we can search for floor. No, plank. Plank broken. That's not it. Search for wood. Wood ground. Yeah, that's probably it. It just needs to be tiled. Okay, so let's not get into all that yet. So okay, we just have this wood here, and we can start building off our house on top of that. Now if the wood looks really ugly, we can fix it, but right now let's kind of get an idea for what we're doing with the scene, right? Let's just get something down, and then we can fix stuff later. Once we know what we're doing, it's kind of gets more obvious what we need to fix as well, right? So here's where turning on snapping again might be useful, because you can kind of turn stuff. Okay, so I'm just kind of, if you have some experience in Sims, this would be the place to use it. Kind of make like a cool little house here. You can also turn on surface snapping in here, and once you move stuff around, it'll just snap to the surface like that. If you click Control D, you can duplicate on Control D. You can also click Control C, Control V. Okay, let's see if we can't use this little piece up here. Now, to be honest, I am no architect. I'll make that very clear right away, but we will try our best. Stream is just about having fun today and learning a little bit of Unreal Engine. Because you guys can kind of see how we're getting to the point where we're constructing a house somewhat. So let's search for like fence at this point. No. Yeah, maybe this kind of thing. So we can make like a little balcony here. So how are people, are you at the point where you're constructing stuff? Oh, I have been not at, so I'm at the point where I'm dragging in assets. I'm having a little bit of fun. So I'm gonna put my hand up in the chat. Are you all doing okay? Did I lose you all at some point or not? Well, we can also see if they have some kind of foliage in here, because the scene is looking quite barren. So if you go back, instead of clicking the meshes, there's this foliage folder. And we have a bunch of trees and stuff like that. So if we drag out a big tree over here, so turn off surface snapping. Okay. Right, that's good. Let me know if some stuff went too fast or something like that. If there's something you find weird. I guess there can be a little porch here, maybe. Is that what it's called? So you gotta get creative with these pieces too, you know, if something doesn't fit exactly the way you expected it. Just scale it up. No one will know. And you know, you don't know if it'll turn out great or if it'll turn out weird. You just gotta kind of trust. Just trust yourself, see what you can come up with. So you see, I'm just scaling that to make it fit. I don't really know if it was intended to be used that way, but now I am using it that way. And no one can stop me, because this is my scene. Okay, and very quickly we're getting something. So let's see if there isn't a better replacement for this floor. So if we search for floor, do we get something? We do get something, right? So we can kind of put this on top. What else is there? This looks nice. Okay, so you just kind of got to see what is there. We can use this up here somehow. I kind of want to give it a little bit, you know, cabin in the woods type of vibe. Okay, let's just use a couple more here. But not like any type of cabin in the woods, you know, a little bit creepy, not completely abandoned, but you know, like you wouldn't knock on the door type of thing, you know what I mean? And maybe this shouldn't be that long. Maybe we just keep it like this. It's kind of cute like that. So we move this in. Yeah, something like that. Do houses look like that? I think they do. I think it's fine. That could look like a house, I believe. I am not a house builder. Something like that. Is there a way to use a 3D mouse in Unreal as well? It worked in Blender. I'm so used to it now and I struggle with the movement. Yeah, there is. So Alt left click, Alt middle mouse, and you can kind of go around like that. I feel like mine is inverted right now. I find it really strange. Like, for me it was also a little bit strange with the WSD thing, because I also came from Blender and Maya and all that. But you kind of get used to it really quickly, actually. I would really recommend like just trying it out for a little bit, and I'm sure it will come to you rather quickly. Like, I wouldn't be too worried about it. "3D connection ones." Oh, I don't know. I haven't tried that. Yeah, I just googled what that is because I didn't know what it was, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It might be possible. I haven't tried it. But I mean, if it's possible in Blender, it's probably possible in Unreal Engine 2, I would imagine. Couldn't see why not. Should probably be fine. Okay. It's looking alright. Now the best thing to do would be to look up some kind of reference. And I'm being a very bad example for you all here by not doing that. Okay, we're getting somewhere. And it's kind of just like Lego bricks at this point, right? Like, you just do whatever you feel like and kind of let your creativity guide you. So we're gonna build up this ground a little bit more. Okay. Alright, let's try to add some foliage here. Let's have a little bit of fun with that. Any way to switch to an ortho view to see if objects are lying properly on the floor? So the ortho view is up here, perspective. You got top, bottom, left, right. And it can be a little bit difficult to see, but you could isolate whatever you're looking at. But if you want an object to lie perfectly on the floor, like if the pivot is set correctly, which it happens to actually not be for this particular item, but let's say for this fence here, you can go up here, click surface snapping, and then when you move it, it will snap to the floor. Sucks that it's not working. There might be a way to get it to work though, I could imagine. Alright, so there's this thing up here called foliage, and it basically allows us to paint our landscape with grass and stuff, so that's very fun. So to do that, we gotta load up our brush with foliage that we want to paint with. So if we go into the foliage and then meshes, we can select all our grasses here. Maybe not all of them, right? But the ones that would be found in the same place. So maybe we load them up with these here. Okay, we just load them up with all of these. And you just left click, drag and drop. And then just click save all of these. It's fine. You know, you probably want to make a separate folder for these foliage brush things, but today we're just keeping it simple. So now when we just left click and drag, we can paint on our landscape. Or anywhere really. We can also paint on the roof if we feel like it. Which kind of looks cool, to be honest, right? Like super overgrown swamp type. You can change your brush size here and like the density of your grass and all that. So let's just paint a little bit around here, and then we can come back and do more intricate stuff later. Okay. And if you got it somewhere you don't want it, you can go ahead and use the eraser to delete some stuff. So I'm thinking a pond right here would be cool. So if we go back to this place actors tab before, if you don't have it, it's window place actors. Oops, I clicked something. So we can add a plane without surface snapping. There we go. If we add a plane, and now we can add like a water material to this plane. So let's see what that looks like. If we go back into the Just Be Studios and then materials, we can search for water, and we get this dirty water test, which is what they used. And then there's the puddles one too. It's kind of the same. Water. It's kind of fine. So it looks a little bit too green, so I like dirty water one. So I want to make this thing into like a little bit of a swampland. Place actors tab is in the window. Place actors, and then you get this menu. I'm glad you liked the stream, Marcus. Wait, is that the Marcus I know? I think I know this Marcus from somewhere, perhaps. There is a Marcus supposed to join the stream at some point. Okay. So if we go back with the sculpt brush here, we can kind of form the riverbed, right? So we kind of made a water level here with this plane. And now we can go back in here with the landscape sculpting tool. Then we can change the brush size. Shift to dig down, right? So we can kind of make this pathway to our swamp house here. Oops. I keep clicking F, which is frame, but I use that for my size in other softwares. Maybe we can make like a little island out here. That'd be cool, something like that. Alright, let's go with that. And now we can go back to the foliage. see if we can't add a different kind of foliage now. So we can go here. Let's see if we can add some kind of trees or something instead this time. So meshes, let's add some big trees here. Like these 3, drag them in. Save, save, save. And now we can hold up. How did I do this again? Ah, there we go. So it's kind of like in the fingers. You gotta select one, shift select the other one, and then you can disable all these. So now we're just painting with the trees. So there's a little check mark. So we can select those, and now we should be able to paint. But I have the eraser selected, that's why I'm not painting. Oh, and you see there's way too many here, so we can decrease the brush density. And also they go on very weird angles. So now we can get into all these settings down here. Might be a little bit too much for the stream, I did not think about that. So there we go, we can deselect align to normal. Yeah, see you, Marcus, thank you for joining in. So we can go ahead and draw with this now. Okay, there we go. So we're starting to get this kind of swampy feeling. Might be a little bit too dense. I don't want to lag everybody out as well. Let's see if there's some kind of tall, like bushes and that kind of stuff. So there's some medium trees here. So let's do those as well to kind of fill in the gaps. Okay, so we do actually have to disable these first. And now, yeah, we can paint with some medium trees. There we go. Just go back into selection for a second and delete this thing here in the water. Copy out some of this detailed dirt. Make like a nice little shoreline sorta. Kinda where we see it. Would it make sense to have brick here? Maybe not. Could be like from an old building or something that's fallen. We'll keep it for a second. So this is a little bit extra tough on my PC because I'm also streaming and that takes up like my graphics card energy. But I'm doing the best I can right here. All right. Let's see if we have some kind of lily pads and that kind of stuff. So let's paint with those as well. So foliage. So let's add these lily pads. So same thing, I'm just shift selecting to make it easier on myself. So let's increase the density back a little bit. Is this not letting me paint on the water? Okay, so let's turn off align to normal, and then maybe we can offset it a little bit. So Z offset. Let's see if that's gonna work for us. I think it's because it's like putting it on, see, it's like putting it underwater, right? It is. Okay. Can we not get away like this? Okay, we're just gonna have to do the best we can here. So we might have a little bit of some floating lily pads. Okay. Let's put some of these tall grasses into, and we can put those like near the water edge basically. That would be nice. So turn off those, enable these, align to normal off, and then we get this kind of, so that stuff sticking out the water. Maybe increase the density as well. So I'll make these in like little patches. There's like some tall stuff growing. Yes, you can always modify the collision of the... I can show you how to do that. What's going on here? Is it the ground? Yeah. Okay, so I need to push this landscape up a little bit before. Just gonna do that while I remember. Okay, so to change the collision of an object, let's say if the collision of this doorway wasn't working right, we can just go to where the mesh is, and then we can go edit the properties of this mesh. So we just double click it, and now we get a bunch of settings in here that we wouldn't usually get. So we can search for a collision. Okay, so if we show the collision, so the project default is the simple collision, so you can see there's a box here. If you go player collision, like you wouldn't actually be able to walk through this door because there's no hole in it. But if we change it, instead of going project default, we say use complex collision as simple, you now have this mesh as the actual collider, so you can walk through it. And it will happen for every instance of this thing that you've dragged into the scene. So it'll happen for all of them. Okay, and you can just close that. But you know, you don't need to do it if you don't have to. So project default. If you want to change the lighting, you can't do that. You just have to select the directional light, and then you can change it, and it will actually affect. You zoom out. It will literally affect the clouds and all that. It's very cool. Okay. Would that impact the performance? Yes, but by how much? It kind of depends. If it's just like a static object and you're not doing some kind of physics with it or anything, honestly it shouldn't be that bad. What kind of lighting should we have? Something like this, maybe. Alright, let's see what other stuff we have. There's like a chimney. Why not? They had some VFX. What's that? I don't know what they have in here. Can put some barrels. Sure. Why not a little boat? I don't know where they're going in this infested water, but sure they can have a little boat. Barbed wire? Maybe he was out drinking some beers on his porch. Here it helps to have surface snapping on, because with surface snapping you just drag it on top of this barrel and it'll stay. Little bench on the porch too, maybe. Sure. Okay, the pivot for that one is not great. What else do we have? A clock, some chains. Okay, a little sign. This way is the swamp house, that way it is not. Very informative. Oh, there's windows. Window wire, so maybe this thing up here was like boarded off or something like that. Okay. Maybe that's a little bit too dense, huh? Slow down a little bit more. There's a tree on top. What the heck? So we can just erase that. Okay. Alright. Oh my god, I kinda lost track of time a little bit. We are getting kinda close to the end already. Looks like the colliders on some of the stuff is a little bit bugged out. But I mean, that's pretty much it, right? Like, this is the beginning of a level right here. Okay. I'm gonna start wrapping up the stream. Is there any last minute stuff we could do to beautify this thing? Okay, I hope you all have been able to like do some stuff on your own as well. Alright, there we go. This little suitcase was here since the beginning, and it can stay here. Alright, so I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this and post it in the Discord chat. If you guys have gotten anything of your own, I'd love to see it as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead here, and to take a screenshot you can click the hotkey, that is Windows key Shift S. So Windows key Shift S. And then once you select the area you want to take a screenshot of, you can just let go, and then in the Discord chat you can click Ctrl V to paste it in. So right here I can just click Ctrl V, and then you guys see my little scene here. So if you don't have access to the Discord, I'll invite you all one more time. So if you have been following along today, I would really love to see what you all have been doing. So here's an invite. So I can say something like, here It's my swamp house from today's stream. Hope you all enjoyed and learned something. Go, 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 people. Let me see what you're all doing before I leave. So, swamp house. Maybe a bit of a different angle would look good too. I'll give it like a minute or so, couple of minutes. Okay. Is anyone about to post some stuff? Should I wait a little bit longer? Let me know in the chat if you're like finishing up something and want to take a screenshot for me to look at. You know, guys, remember, it doesn't have to be finished. Like, I just want to see if people like got something out of the stream, you know? If you managed to actually just make a level with something in it, I think that's pretty good for 1.5 hours. Yes, alright, alright, alright. I'll wait a little bit. Can I hide the game objects like player controller? You can click G. So G hides all the UI elements. Trying to get Discord to work, alright. How was the stream? Was it okay? Working with this pack and everything before? I mean, usually with the Unreal streams, we're always doing something different every time, so it's kind of hard to know what we're getting into. Just sort of have to wing it and be creative on the fly. Yeah, of course, this could use a lot more work, but oh, a card would have been cool. Can also make it nighttime and add some lights or something like that. Let's try that while we wait. So also remember to save. So you can save. You can save current level as, and then you can save it as a new map out here. So we can call it Swamp House. So in the Place Actors tab, there's also lights. So we can actually like cut this directional light completely. It's gonna turn very dark. Or maybe we just turn it into a very dimly lit. like moonlight, kinda. Nah, it's not diffused enough for that. Can we... Then you can add like a little point lights. So let's say if there's some kind of lighting inside the house, that would be cool. I think I didn't make a backside, which actually would help the light bounce around a little bit nicer. See how it kind of looks black in there, even though it's not supposed to. So if we had some kind of lantern out here, that would be cool. Or maybe like a lantern out on the balcony too, if you want to do that kind of light setup. And then like a little lamp post here. Yeah, I could do a lot. It's a spooky nighttime version too. Okay, I'm gonna look in the Discord now. Boop. Okay, so got lost quite early, but this is a screenshot of what I managed to make. Hey, I mean, getting into the software itself and actually making something, that's what the stream was about, so I think that's pretty good. I don't think you have to be sad about that. Good job, SM28. I hope you got into it a little bit. You know, the point of the stream is to make you able to like figure out more stuff afterwards, right? So you can always Google and YouTube and all that. Renan, that's a nice little boat house. Cute with the little bridge and everything. It's about getting creative. Yeah, it's nice. You get a big heart for that. Ahiet. Alright, so I see you went with a different pack. And you're just messing around with stuff. That's fine. That's what the whole stream is about. So I think that's cool. And that might be your first Unreal scene ever, which is a big accomplishment. So you get a big heart for that. I missed the night info trying to get into the Discord. The info about the light. Oh, I'm sorry. So in the place actors tab, there's just this lights tab here, and you can just drag in different types of lights. The point light is like in every direction. Then there's a spotlight, which is just a single direction. And you can move that around. If you want it to turn dark, it's because, and you can't, it's because there's this directional light in your scene already, which it spawns with that. It's basically like a sun, and you can just delete that. So you can search for directional light, and you can just delete that, or turn it upside down, which is what I did. If you wanted it to be like foggy, like a swamp, and something you could also do is, see, fog, there's this exponential height fog. Oh, I did not mean to click that. You can basically turn up the fogginess if you want to. So there's the fog density, but it's probably post process volume. Yeah, so you can also do it here. Oh well, there's a bunch of different post-processing like stuff you can do. Alright people, if that's gonna be it, that's gonna be it. I hope you all enjoyed, I hope you all learned something, even if you didn't get all the way to the goal. I mean, it's just about opening up Unreal Engine and getting started with it really. Like, it's only 1.5 hours. That's what we have time for, you know? So, that's gonna be it for me for today. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll be back again next week on Wednesday for the sculpting stream, which is one of my favorites, so I hope to see you all there. That one is very exciting. And yeah, remember to like the video if you did like it, if it was helpful to you all. It tells my boss that you guys are actually enjoying the streams and I should keep doing them. Alright people, that's gonna be it for me for tonight. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your evening and all that. So see you all. Bye bye.